10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Big tech news this week as Microsoft has unveiled its new generation Xbox One. Designers say the console's revolutionary new voice command feature makes it easier than ever for the Xbox to control its users. According to Microsoft spokesman Don Matrick, quote, "The Xbox One is programmed with a host of simple voice commands that you will respond to instantly. In addition to phrases like jump, shoot, and insert game disc, users will also understand more complicated instructions like download Call of Duty Update or come into the room and turn on Xbox."
The Xbox One tells us what games to play, what music to listen to, what shows to watch.
Watch TV.
And with that simple command, I'm watching live TV.
The new Xbox's high-tech sensors can also detect your expression and tell when you're looking away from the television.
Andy, look back at the TV.
Microsoft says the new Xbox can also command you using your smartphone or tablet. TechBuzz is raving, quote, "It's the immersive obedience experience we've been waiting for."
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are free to call in and talk live here on the airwaves. That's what we do on Free Talk Live. I mean, it's pretty obvious from the name. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
It's the Mother's Day edition of Free Talk Live.
And I think my mother is listening.
Oh, well.
For the first time.
For the first time ever?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna apologize to her and all the mothers out there. You know, I was thinking about Mother's Day today, and I think I saw somebody on Facebook say something about their mother being the greatest. And, you know, what my mind, the way it works is that, you know, sort of by definition, a good number of the mothers out there are below average.
Well, half of them exactly.
Right. Well,
On any scale you choose to use, assuming that you define average as mean and not median.
Right. Well, one less than half. Right. So it's, but what I was thinking at the same time, right? So if you've got this situation where clearly all mothers are not the greatest. Or
It wouldn't even be one less than 50% because on a very large data set, your mean is generally going to be your mode or the most frequently expressed number there. So you're going to cut a whole bunch of people right out of the center of your bell curve by excluding the equal to.
Greatest is clearly better than average, right?
Right.
Significantly better than average.
Uh-huh.
So at that point, you're excluding 80% of the moms from being great.
Uh-huh.
But at the same time, when we look at...
But it's a value statement.
It is.
Everything you have said would have been true about something that was objectively true or false. But the fact is, if you ask anybody on Earth just about, with the exceptions of some people who hate their mothers, and you ask them who's the best mother in the world, they're going to say mine.
Right.
And brook no disagreement, nor should they, because that is their subjective evaluation.
And further than just subjective, it may be objective at the same time, right? So you could have the best mother in the world would be not just a subjective, but it could be an objective statement. And from the objectivity, it's the best mother for you.
Yes.
So from a, you look at nature, nurture, this conversation we have, and the United States leans heavily nurture. We believe that, the sort of the things that happen in your life create who you are. And that's obviously your mother is a strong portion of what has created your life. But there's also a good argument from nature, too, that genetically you are who you are. And you got that from mom. And the best mom genetically for you is very likely to be your genetic mother.
See, I don't know because I'm adopted.
Me too.
And you were
chosen.
And so I don't know. Was there something, some sort of biological head start missing in my relationship with my mother because I was adopted? Perhaps, but she ended up being exactly the mother I needed, partially because, there's a lot of paths to adulthood. And so she led me along the path that she knew. And it may not have been completely in line with my genetic predispositions. As a matter of fact, it probably wasn't, but it worked out pretty well for me.
You didn't struggle in your sort of teen years, early 20s? That happens a lot to adopted kids.
I'm still struggling.
Okay.
But but not so much with that. I do struggle with a sense of disconnection from people, which I think might be related to
being adopted.
I really think that it's a effect of having spent my first 2 months in an orphanage, basically being raised by the state, and probably not getting the kind of touch and attention and affection that I would have gotten if I'd been able to go to my mother immediately.
Now, in my case, I was adopted at birth, basically, from the hospital. My mom was called at work, and she had me. She had seen me by noon and had picked me up. I think it was 4 days was the waiting period at that point. But had gone to see me every day at that point.
A day longer than a gun.
Well, it's important.
Yes.
And, at that, for me, Mother's Day is meaningful in so much as we're talking about a woman who has chosen to spend her time with me as opposed to a woman who, may have, through mishap or accident, ended up with me, which is true in so many cases. So I value her that much more. At least that's what I think. Subjectively, I value that much more. And believe mine is so much better than everybody else's because of that. We made waffles this morning, my son and I, for my wife. My mother is down in Florida and will be joining us here in New Hampshire in a few weeks. Looking forward to that. But anyway, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. And I want to talk about a bunch of mothers. This is from MailTribune.com, from the Mail Tribune.
Does the female Tribune agree?
Yeah, it would be spelled differently.
Okay.
Some 200 vocal anti-vaxxers, all mothers by the looks of it, packed Ashland's Plaza Friday. This is the, I guess, Oregon's, the national mall kind of thing. And they were chanting, "Kill the bill," and vowing to pull their... They weren't worried about the mother of the bill, apparently. Yeah, or the father in this case, in all likelihood. Vowing to pull their children out of schools if the legislature passed a bill banning exemptions for philosophical or religious reasons. House bill, whatever, is headed to the Senate and governor, and said that the governor said she will sign the bill if it clears the last hurdle. Families could claim only medical exemptions to vaccines under the bill. Unvaccinated children would still be able to attend online and homeschools, but they could not go in person. So apparently these mothers are vowing to pull their kids out of a school that they would be banned from.
Yeah.
But whatever.
And interestingly enough, the same school will admit you if you're unvaccinated for a different reason. If you have a depressed immune system, you can't be vaccinated, and the same school will let you in. So they're not excluding kids for being unvaccinated. They're excluding the kids for the beliefs which left them unvaccinated. They just don't think it's a good idea, or they've got a religious reason.
Health officials, they don't have a problem philosophically with taking your money to support their schools.
And
that's
when
my
you
only
think
problem
about
here.
it, they'll still take their money.
Right.
And when you think about it, this is pretty amazing. Think about the flu shot. Every single year, they develop a new flu shot and they administer it to people basically untested, because in order to find out what a vaccine does to you 10 years later, you have to wait 10 years. And this this vaccine didn't exist 10 years ago. So it can't have been tested for 10 years. And the absolute, so basically they're forcing people to submit to a medical experiment in a lot of cases.
That's the case for flu. And obviously, when you're talking about a polio vaccine, it's had a lot more testing because the virus...
Polio vaccine has been around a long time, but they keep reformulating it. So they know what the old polio vaccines did in the long term, but they don't know what the reformulated new ones will do in the long term. So, and I'm not saying don't get vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated. I don't get flu shots, but
I don't either.
But I had vaccinations when I was a kid.
The sickest I've been in my life is the 2 times that I got a flu vaccine. I'm not saying the flu vaccines make you sick. I am saying the flu vaccines make me sick.
Yeah, see, I've never had a flu vaccine, and I've never had the flu that I know of, which basically means I've never had the flu to the point where I had to go get hospitalized and find out what kind of bug I had.
Right.
So that's good enough for me. If I don't go to the hospital, I didn't really get sick.
Now, health officials are pointing out this year has been the worst in the U.S. for measles outbreaks in over 2 decades, an outbreak that began in Clark County. That's a long way from Oregon, I presume. January sickened at least 77 people before it was declared over at the end of April. Speakers against the bill Friday include naturopaths and chiropractors who urged people to believe statements about the harmlessness of vaccines, saying that they've treated ill effects. Or people not to believe the harmless statements about the vaccines. They say they've treated ill effects, and much study is needed to...
Such a sweet, lovable animal, and people would want to pet him, and they'd come up and they'd get close to him, and it would be this instant, oh! My dad didn't want to touch him. It's like, ooh, get the stinky dog away from me.
Even after we'd give her a bath, she would still stink.
Very stinky, both bad breath and bad gas. I asked the vet, and he said some dogs are just stinky.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
The omega-3 fatty acids.
Flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food.
The ingredients convinced me that it was definitely worth trying. After about a week, he started smelling normal. My husband and I were really kind of astonished.
Dinovite is nutrition.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Free Talk Live.
But we have the opportunity. No one has the opportunity.
Look, just hold on. Just because the slaves can pick the head slave doesn't mean that the slaves are free.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Look, if people actually got up and voted for things, there might actually be some change.
People do actually get up and vote for things, and change always results in the same crap.
What are you going to do that's different by voting?
Two choices between crap sandwiches, man.
You're speaking out of both sides of your mouth. On the one hand, you're saying, oh, hardly anybody votes, so you can barely say this is a person of right. And then I said, well, gosh, if people get up and vote, maybe things will change.
Hold on, that was only one thing he brought up.
Here's what I mean.
When people do vote, it doesn't make any difference because of a number of reasons.
People never vote in numbers that could actually reflect what
Why should I vote for any of these thugs? They're killers. They're murderers.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern. Live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up in any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at GetCell411.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Live Mother's Day edition. It is Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
Don't have any mothers on the show today. Sorry about that. Didn't even consider bringing one of the...
Well, do you really want to ask a mother to come on the show on Mother's Day?
Yeah, this is inappropriate.
I think it's good we gave them a day off.
All of our hosts, however, on Free Talk Live do have mothers. So
it's true.
Yeah. Let's go to the phones. Well, first, before that, Bitcoin.com. Let me tell you about Bitcoin.com.
Tell me about Bitcoin.com.
They are your premier source for all information that you might need that surrounds cryptocurrency. Probably not all information you need surrounding cryptocurrency, but likely all information that you need in the next month surrounding cryptocurrency. You could be somebody who's really into cryptocurrency, in which case you may need to go to several news sources to find lots of information, but news.bitcoin.com does have a real staff as opposed to the vast majority of these news organizations, which is sort of grab news from other places that kind of aggregate news.
Yep.
Yeah, news.bitcoin.com has a real staff writing real stories. But Bitcoin.com is unique in so much as it also has wallets that you can use for your cryptocurrency. You can buy Bitcoin Cash there. You can they can show you where to spend your Bitcoin Cash. Places like save@purse.com. You can get the latest news, as I had said. You can engage with their community on their forum, one of the best around. They also are in charge, I believe, or have some relationship to the Reddit RBTC. So learn more at bitcoin.com. You're going to love the website. It's great. Ian's at their offices right now, bitcoin.com. Let's go to Tom calling in from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind? Tom going once. Tom going twice. Let's hold that. See if it's a problem here. Let's go with Chuck in Virginia. Chuck, can you hear me? Yeah, that's a problem with the board up in Minneapolis.
Quick, somebody panic.
Yeah, well, I'm not too terribly panicked. I'll just leave the line open here, and I'm sure Chuck will chime in when he comes on.
Okay.
Hello.
Hey, there you go, Chuck. What's on your mind?
Hey, I was just going to the gentleman beside you that was talking about being in an orphanage for a couple of months before he was adopted.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I think he hit the nail right on the head. I was the same way.
Really?
So tell me about it.
Well, it just ended up great. You know, like he said, I ended up with the mother I needed. And she had lost 3 children before us, so she adopted me and my younger brother.
Yeah, I was going to ask. So you had a sibling that was also in some kind of orphanage situation?
Well, he was, but it was the same orphanage, but we weren't real brothers.
Oh.
So imagine that.
Yeah,
so they got 2 adopted, and that was in the 60s, late 60s. And they made a mistake and gave our parents a second child within 18 months, which was unheard of.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this was in the mountains of Virginia, so go figure.
It's a great story, Chuck.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you still close with your brother?
Yes, I am. I am. A matter of fact, he lives about 2 miles up the street from me.
Is your mother still alive?
So, no, unfortunately, she's not. She was a little older. I'm 51, but there was a decent generation gap. She was born in 1930.
That is a good generation gap, yeah.
I'm 51 also, and mine was born in 1926.
I am 48. Mine was born in 41. And there's 3 adopted guys here all talking, so it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate the story.
Well, one thing you will think about, the mothers you're talking about, the birth dates and all, he's talking about 26. That was a different class of people, of course, too.
Yeah, people who had survived grew up
generation.
in the Depression.
Oh, yeah. My parents did well for themselves, but nonetheless, they are to this day very frugal because, they remember a time when, waste literally meant you weren't going to have it.
Yeah.
If you wasted it, you weren't going to have money to buy more. You were done.
Thank you for the call, Chuck. Yeah, I mean, this is quite literally, how the Greatest Generation was. My grandmother, very similar, didn't believe in wasting anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the amazing thing is the impact on these people, and this Great Depression scarred an entire generation, and yet, what people don't realize is the Great Depression was caused by the Federal Reserve and nothing else. They say the Federal Reserve was created to stabilize the currency. Well, 15 years after they start stabilizing the currency, what do you know? We have the one and only Great Depression in history.
So I think probably my grandmother held on to a lot of things that probably would have been thrown away by other people. But the worst thing that she had as far as a habit was drying out paper towels and using them again.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I've known people to do that.
Yeah.
And I mean, the truth be told, I have done that when I've been, I don't feel like going to the store right now. Okay, I'm going to throw this over here and come back in a couple hours and clean.
It's a skill set, right?
Yeah.
It did teach you something about frugality, no doubt.
Well, you know what they say, necessity is a mother.
Fortunately, she didn't do it with toilet paper, right?
Yeah.
Just thank your lucky stars. So going on with the story about mothers, many mothers here. Apparently in Oregon, a bunch of people came out to stand against this law, which is going to force kids to get vaccinated. I guess do away with the vaccinations or the vaccination exemptions for religious or philosophical reasons, right? So basically, at this point, you can say, I don't want to get a vaccination for my kid, and you can continue to send them to public school.
And note that they don't put risk assessment. That was never a reason. So why is I'm completely unsafe? I'm completely convinced that vaccines are unsafe. That's not true of me, but if it was true of somebody, what system of justice would force somebody to submit to a medical procedure that he personally believed was unsafe? That's insane.
So
I mean, imagine for a moment, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but imagine for the moment that on one of these vaccines, the anti-vaxxers are right. Maybe it has bad effects 10 years down the road. If literally everybody has had it, and it, for example, renders people sterile 10 years later, guess what? You just killed the entire human race because you didn't let anybody escape your damaged vaccine.
I certainly don't believe that vaccines don't help to prevent the diseases that they're aimed at.
Nor do I.
But I do think that the risk assessment that I'm told that humans are bad at is actually the risk assessment is probably bad on the vaxxer side, not the anti-vaxxer side. And I'm going to point that out here coming up.
I would say it's subjective and you should be able to pursue your own.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to critique my assessment. 855-450-3733. You don't like my opinion on vaccines? Fight me.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
Bacon lovers, we ship free. Try our amazing bacon. No refrigeration required. Proprietary value-added packaging provides 10-year shelf life and protects the leanest, thickest, center-cut, fully cooked bacon in America today. Ready to eat right from the pouch or warm and serve. Savory and delicious. Wholesale price for your everyday use. Order today at ReadyToEatBacon.com. ReadyToEatBacon.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. We're talking about vaccines here on the airwaves, and this is one of these things that, really gets people, get their blood boiling on either side.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing is, my understanding is that Bill Gates did not vaccinate, although he is funding a huge vaccination program all over the world. I don't know if this is true.
I don't know if that's true either, but it would be the rational thing to do, and I'm going to explain that here in just one second. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world, and this is a true statement. I don't think it's refutable. You could refute that they're not sufficiently liberty-oriented for you, I suppose, but the reality is that it's a gathering of conservatives and liberals and libertarians all getting together to discuss, hopefully being open-minded and just mingling together and discussing and sharing real debates and looking for real solutions. They're going to have Penn Jillette, Lenore Skenazy, Candace Owen, John Mackey, Kevin O'Leary and Kevin Harrington of Shark Tank, Stephen Moore, who's now on the Federal Reserve, Grover Norquist, great libertarian activist in my estimation. And if you want to get your tickets, please go get your tickets. Please join us at freedomfest.com/FTL. It's freedomfest.com/FTL. That's where you get your tickets. Use coupon code FTL50 and save $50. Now, maybe you're not convinced. Maybe you're like, I might find something better to do July 17th through the 20th. And I don't like going to Las Vegas and having fun and watching shows and enjoying gambling and some of the best food on the planet. Well, okay. Perhaps you might be convinced after you go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you view the 5 best speeches from last year. This is what they sell, speeches, right? Like, this is it. You get to go see the best speeches from last year. They're available to you only through freedomfest.com/FTL. Judge Napolitano, Alan Dershowitz, Charlie Kirk, Heather McDonald, John Mackey, all for free. freedomfest.com/FTL. Coupon code FTL50 to save $50 when you are finally convinced. And I'm sure you'll have a much better chance of that if you go to freedomfest.com/FTL and view those things.
Well, if you want to go to a Freedom Fest and don't have time, just send me. I'll wear a GoPro through the whole thing and send you the video when I'm done.
Well, you could probably stream it for them.
Yeah. Did you make a white supremacist sign?
What in the world would you do that for? No, I said okay.
Yes, you see, that's supposed to be.
I have heard that making the okay sign, but I think you have to do it like upside down or something.
Oh, is that what it is?
I'm not entirely sure.
I don't know. I don't understand any of it. It was an okay sign from the time that I was a child.
Yes, so it's still an okay sign.
It's actually probably the best 4chan joke ever.
It's just a liberal conspiracy, basically. So anyway, let me go on with my explanation as to why I think it is rational for Bill Gates to, if presuming he has, I'm not saying he has, and you're not either, that to not have been vaccinated but still pay for other people to be vaccinated. Here's the reason. Now, I'm a parent of a child. That is a true statement. We know that all medical procedures have risk, right? Like no one's foolish enough to say that they don't. So a vaccination is a medical procedure. Therefore, it must have some risk. What is that risk? Well, I don't know. Right now, you can out loud, Rich, but everybody can answer in their mind. What is the risk of some kind of major medical problem or death resulting from, and I'll just pick the one that everybody wants to go to, polio. What's the likelihood of a major medical problem or death resulting from the polio vaccine? Just make something up, Rich. What do you think is reasonable to have said?
X.
Well, something besides X. I want a real number, not X.
Okay.
That is a real number, right?
Yeah. Well, X is actually a real letter, but in algebra it substitutes for a real number.
Right. 1 in a million?
Okay, 1 in a million.
Okay, 1 in a million. A lot
I
of
can't
people
remember
go with
the question, though.
Yeah, well, you don't know.
Okay, that's the number of adverse effects is 1 in a million. Is that what I just
highly
said?
Adverse effects.
Highly adverse effects from the vaccine. So vaccine injuries.
A vaccine injury, we're just saying, just for the sake of a problem, is 1 in a million.
As reasonably defined elsewhere.
What are the chances of a white kid in rural New Hampshire who does not go to government school contracting polio, which is a disease that is nearly eradicated from the planet, and basically quarantined to Afghanistan and the Pushtun area of Pakistan? What do you think the chances of him getting that? Consider that there are 7 billion people plus on the planet.
Right. Well, the thing is, what are his chances of being exposed to it over his lifetime?
No, I think that he gets to make a decision in his 18th year if he stays regionally in the same place.
Oh, wow, that's more math than I can do.
I'm just going to say 1 in 10 million. So therefore, you're a 10th likely to be harmed. You're 10 times more likely to be harmed by the vaccine than you would be by the disease itself. Now, measles,
right, but that's under the assumption that other people are vaccinated.
It's true, but that is true, is it
really?
not?
Really?
Yes.
So the
we're not talking about an imaginary world. We're talking about this one.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying is that people are doing complex math in their heads when they decide about vaccines and these sorts of things. And you need to leave individuals to make their choices.
Yeah. Now, at the same time, there is the issue of herd immunity. And so basically, by the more people who are vaccinated, the less likely you are to encounter the disease.
Oh, so I'm benefiting from herd immunity. That's why I say, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to vaccinate your kids. I just don't want you to mandate that other people vaccinate theirs. That's all I'm saying.
That's my position too. And because sometimes the contrarians are right, no matter how silly they look.
100%. We don't know. And the other thing is that I do not trust the medical community. I trust them to do a lot, but I don't trust them to do this. I don't trust them to be objective about their own mistakes. Because that's a highly human thing to do, is to cover up your mistake, to ignore your mistake, to not see your mistake, right?
Right.
So we don't know what a vaccine injury is, and we don't know how often they occur. We do know this, that vaccine manufacturers are not held liable for their products. They can't be sued. You can sue this fund into which they pay, but you can only sue it for so much. So now we have a situation where they have limited their liability. And what we know about, another thing we know about human beings is when they lack responsibility, because they no longer, it doesn't matter whether they're liable or not for something. They don't get to keep more money if no one sues the fund, because someone will always sue the fund.
Right.
But they can't lose anything more than the fund. So we basically have a situation of a lack of responsibility. So now we have people that are not responsible for their actions, who are now shaming other people for not, using
buying their product and assuming the risk that they won't assume.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I find this to be very, very, very disturbing. Now, you go on the internet and you go say something like this on Facebook or Imgur or a variety of other social media networks, the NPCs will glom onto you like you are some kind of horrible person.
Yeah.
And
that's why I say it on the radio when they can't talk back.
Right. Oh, yes, they can, though. Anybody
they
call
can
in.
if they call, but they have to be smart enough to operate a telephone.
855-450-3733, 855-450, free as in freedom. I've had lots of people I've had more than one person tell me, I don't want your kid to play with my kid. Usually they say it on the radio, and there's no chance that their kid would have ever played with my kid.
Of course, you also periodically have people telling you they want to burn down your house.
Yeah, there's all kinds of people doing all kinds of things on the radio. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
So, look, my child isn't more likely to be exposed. It's your child who goes to the government school that's more likely. My kid doesn't go to government school. He doesn't come into contact with all these different, because this is the thing.
There's a danger to that too, though, because a lot of these diseases are harmless in childhood, but dangerous in adulthood.
Specifically
so
measles,
the worst case is that you postpone but do not prevent infection.
That's true, and I think that that's something that that Jack, as a young man, should be able to make a decision to do.
Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah.
And I'm not against vaccines. I'm just against the things I've stated up to this point. So the number 855-450-3733.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help. Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite. Pick up 2 bottles of LicoChops, get the 3rd bottle free. New improved LicoChops with omega-6, omega-3, vitamin E, and now 6 extra direct-fed microbials. Even better for the digestive tract and immune system. And dogs love it. Try LicoChops. Buy 2, get 1 free. This is Henry Lukasevic for Dynavite.
DINOVITE.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The Free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. TheMorganReport.com. TheMorganReport.com.
Warning. If you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to let us settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-959-5759. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-959-5759. That's 1-800-959-5759. 1-800-959-5759.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Did you know you can legally exit the U.S. federal income tax system? Well, it's true, and thousands of American nationals are doing it. The 16th Amendment and the Internal Revenue Code are legal, but only in a limited jurisdiction. This is the basis behind the voluntary nature of the income tax. Learn the exit strategy provided by Congress. Find out more by visiting weissparis.com and watch our numerous videos. That's WEISS Paris.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live Mother's Day edition. Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
Want to tell you real quickly about our AMP program. That's AMP, amp.freetalklive.com, where you can go and support what we do. What do? We allow people all over the world to call in and discuss with us and others what their opinions are on more than now 200 radio stations. Free Talk Live is proud to announce that we are now over 200 radio stations across the United States, across the frigid plain, across the shining sea, as a matter of fact. We're over in like Guam and Hawaii and places like that. So it's all the United States, but it's different spots. And you are welcome to support us. We would love it if you'd support us. Support us in spreading the ideas of liberty. Support us in spreading the ideas of free speech. Go to amp.freetalklive.com. Do as Scott has done, who is a gold amplifier. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, amplifiers. Thank you, those who will soon amplify. Going to Phil, calling in from Colorado. Phil, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a few points on the topic. A friend and I had kind of made a documentary on vaccines a few years ago. And
what's it called?
It's on our website. The website is babylonburning.org.
Okay.
There's some other ones on there. It's 2 parts. It's probably 4 or 5 hours. We put in a lot of video clips.
You must be against vaccines. Nobody who's for vaccines would take that kind of time.
Well, I know. But I wanted to say that one of the things with Bill Gates you mentioned is we did find out.
Yeah.
We have the video clips on there. You probably have heard of the TED conference.
Yeah, TEDx. Or TED. Yeah, TED.
So it was the TED conference, I believe, 2010. He was on there talking about vaccines. The Bill Melinda Gates Foundation does pump gargantuan amounts of money in it.
Yep.
And he admits that the vaccines are used to limit population.
I am very curious as to hearing this. So where you can go to where is it?
So it's on, the website is babylonburning.org.
Okay.
And there's some other stuff
I'll
did,
look
but
for
it's
it.
on there.
Thanks for letting us know, Phil. Because I mean, I'd be interested in knowing how vaccines would be related to population control. It would seem like the opposite, in fact. I mean,
well, that's the key point. But if you look at it, Bill Gates is deeply involved in the eugenics movement. His father, years back, was actually the head of Planned Parenthood, which is a huge eugenics program.
Okay.
So we followed this through a lot of different people, and we have
what
a
is
video
it?
clip
So,
on
but
there
being
also.
against eugenics is really just sort of being for, bad human character traits, right? I mean, what is it?
Not the way I define it.
Okay.
Because eugenics is basically the central planning of a gene pool by government.
Well, the government doesn't get to plan it. The government seems to be against eugenics.
Well,
I mean, at this point, eugenics is basically a cuss word. You might as well drop the F-bomb when you say eugenics.
Right, but then you have authors like Jack London, for example.
Okay,
now,
but he's dead.
He is dead, but Jack London was a famous naturalist and also a famous socialist. And one of the things that he pointed out was that socialism, if adopted, would short-circuit natural selection. Okay? Anybody born human would be able to survive. And anybody born both human and fertile would most likely be able to breed.
I'm not sure that's socialism, that's prosperity.
Well, that's the thing. He thought that socialism would bring prosperity and more importantly would distribute it to everybody regardless of actual fitness. So basically what he recognized is that if there's nothing in nature causing you to die if your IQ is below a certain level, okay, the IQ of the entire gene pool will drop and drop and drop.
And that's just one aspect of what would cause death for people, right? I mean, like IQ is just one thing. Stupid people, really dumb people will die.
People die over having bad genes, genetic diseases. That's why most of us don't have fatal genetic diseases, is because the people who did die.
Don't you think there are issues that confront the world that have to do with population? I mean, isn't population a factor in many issues?
Oh, well, yeah, I think it's been overblown. I think the biggest problem isn't the amount of people, it's governments and how they run stuff.
Yep.
It's an utter disaster. But as we're speaking about eugenics, what you were just saying is pretty close to the whole origins if you read the original writings of Margaret Sanger.
Okay.
Well, what I was saying was very close to the origin if you read the writings of Charles Darwin, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, Margaret Sanger, I believe, had a little racist tint to what she has to say. I'm not going to say that.
I don't know. I think she's been misquoted on that, but I don't have a dog on that in that fight.
All right.
Basically,
let Phil talk. Hold on. You're going to say?
So they kind of go hand in hand. I mean, if you read the writings of a lot of globalists through the years on the Georgia Guidestones and a bunch of places, the goal is to cut the population down 80, 90, 95%. Bill Gates, Prince Charles or Philip, a lot of these people, Ted Turner, we have quotes from him. He said that it was either him or Prince, one of the princes, I forget, it's in there, that
well,
if he
Phil,
could,
if you have...
he would come back as a virus and destroy the human population.
Look, if you take a mammal, well, hold on just a second. I don't care which mammal they're talking about, but if you take a mammalian species, you introduce it in a given environment. In many cases, if that mammalian species, especially what we call let's see, there's R-type, right? I think is what it is. That species will breed until it starves to death, right? It's going to consume everything that's available to it and then begin a starvation process. Do we really want that?
Well, I like I said, I think that the biggest problems is look in the Western advanced societies, the population is dwindling.
Yeah, but at this point, the Western countries
7 billion humans.
Yes, but the Western countries are just putting up gates and saying that the people that are breeding in the other places can't come in. I mean, that's all it is. They're kicking the can down the road.
Well, yeah, I would kind of disagree. I don't think it's the amount of people; it's how their specific cultures and societies operate with governments that, believe it or not, are more corrupt and dysfunctional.
I agree 100% that governments are corrupt and dysfunctional. But and I'm not saying, I certainly would not say that governments should limit the population. Governments are so incompetent they shouldn't do anything. That's the statement I'm making. However, I am also going to say that when I observe the human race, when I look at all of us, I see some people that are a bit of a drag and I see some people that are producing. I see population-based problems, among them being carbon dioxide, others being, food distribution, war, crime, a whole bunch of things that go on that are population-based, and I don't think that there's any argument against it.
Well, those are all weak. Those are all just weaknesses of human nature.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, stealing stuff from me to educate other people's kids through government school, that's not a weakness of human nature. The fact that they'll come after me if I try to, use violence to protect myself from tax collectors, that's not a weakness of human nature. That's just rapaciousness. And I'm not saying that, but I mean, some of these things have a population component. And, I find that the idea of limiting population would probably be a good idea if people chose to do it. I don't expect them to.
See, from my point of view, the issue is the ratio of people to capital. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, you have enough capital to create X number of jobs. Okay. If there are more people than that, then you're going to have people who are outside that system. And if they can't homestead land, which they can't in most of the world, there's nowhere for those people to go and nothing for those people to do. So I would say, first off, open up homesteading of land, but also don't work too hard at making sure there are more people until all the people you have jobs.
Phil, thank you for the call. Really appreciate that conversation. Call in again sometime. Of those who are waiting on the phones, please continue to hold. We will get you in the next hour. Free Talk Live.
Jake was in big trouble with the IRS. He owed how much?
$92,000.
Ouch. The IRS left no room for Jake to breathe.
They put a lien on my house, took all the money out of my bank account, took money out of my paychecks. So it was a nightmare.
He needed help fast.
I figured that all these companies were the same until I called Federal Tax Management. You could just tell they knew what they were talking about. Right then and there, I felt like I had some hope.
Stop the liens, levies, and garnishments fast and qualify for one of several special IRS programs that could reduce or even eliminate your tax debt. So, how'd it go for Jake?
They did what they said they would do. They came through for me. I ended up saving an unbelievable amount. I was so jazzed. I was extremely happy.
If you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes, take Jake's advice.
Give Federal Tax Management a phone call. If they help me, they can help anybody.
Call the Federal Tax Management Hotline now. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625. 800-503-8625.
How many lawyers does it take to change a light bulb? None. They'd rather keep their clients in the dark. There are too many lawyer jokes to count. However, there are some lawyers with more noble intentions. At the Institute for Justice, we bring the light to our clients. We are a non-profit public interest law firm with clear values and principles. At IJ, we fight for those whose most basic rights are denied by the government. Visit our website today at ij.org.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,284. Silver at $14.74. And Bitcoin is trading around $6,145. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the European Union will defend the Iran nuclear accord despite Tehran's decision to backtrack on its commitments in response to U.S. sanctions. But European powers expect it to collapse without a deal to sell Iranian oil to China or India. The anti-media reports that Britain, France, and Germany, which signed the 2015 deal, along with the United States, China, and Russia, are determined to show they can compensate for last year's U.S. withdrawal from the accord, protect trade, and still prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear bomb. But with Iran's economy dependent on crude exports that are traded in U.S. dollars, a promised European trade channel to bypass American sanctions has proved complicated, is not yet operational, and may never be able to handle oil sales. The Iran Accord, one of the West's biggest foreign policy achievements until U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out in May of 2018, lifted punishing United Nations sanctions on Iran in return for Iranian compliance with the deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices, with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review. In light of reports this week of a Russian crime ring stealing 1.2 billion username and password combinations from internet users, experts from top security firms across the country reportedly advised Americans to refrain from clicking on anything at all. The nation's top security specialists warned individuals to actively avoid any scrolling or swiping on the internet, and further urged Americans, as an added precaution, to steer clear of buttons, keyboards, and computer screens altogether. In other news, an employer botches a job interview. A date's flaws are coming at a woman faster than she can rationalize them, and a going out of business sign thanks a neighborhood for 3 months of no support whatsoever. Whether or not this video news summary eased the pain of your existence, you can now take solace in the fact that you're a few minutes closer to departing this meaningless world. For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Live Mother's Day edition. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. We were discussing vaccines. It's Mark with you.
And nobody, the artist formerly known as Rich Paul.
And let's just go to the phones right off here. We'll go to Drew calling in from Virginia. Drew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yeah. So I just want to say I support the right of anyone to, concerning any kind of medical treatment, to research, to choose or refuse anything. Because when I look back at it, yes, most medications, and I'll put that in italics, most medications are safe. But in the past 20-some years, there's a list of medications that have been recalled, from statin to Darvon, Vioxx, Propulsid, and you can look those up. There's like a dozen or two that I can remember that I've given as a nurse. And in that decade, it was considered safe. Now, I'm not saying that people should refuse everything, but I support the right to research, choose, or refuse, because you just don't know. It's your body.
And when you say safe's sort of a relative term when used regarding drugs,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Right, yeah, because all of them seem to have these, when you hear them advertised on TV, have this long list of side effects. Now, I will go ahead and say that probably half of those side effects that they're listing off were just, hypochondriacs or weirdos that happen to be in their, their survey group or whatever, but the other half probably isn't.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can I say one more thing?
Thank you for your service as a nurse, by the way.
Thank you. So the thing is, they researched that medication, A, for how many years, and then B, like how many other medications was that subject taking at that time?
Right. I'm already taken two.
And not just that, but there are all kinds of drugs that certain people, they call it an allergy, but it's not really an allergy. They have... but there's all kinds of drugs that some people can't take.
Oh, that sounds like an allergy.
It could be an.
Or they can't take in combination with some other medications. They used to call it polypharmacy. Like once you're taking a certain number of medications, we have no idea where the research goes. So I'm not saying not to take your medicines.
Well, the thing is, if you're looking for people who exist in the sets of people taking various combinations of medicine, maybe there's only 300 people on Earth who take that combination of medicines. Are you going to feed them all to some helpless innocent in order to prevent death to somebody who needs them all? It doesn't. None of these things are perfectly safe, so everybody has to make their own best guess.
Thank you for the call, Drew. Really appreciate that. Let's go to Tom calling in from New Hampshire. Tom, you're on Free Talk Live.
When Donald Trump was running for president, a lot of even the Republican candidates were very concerned because he is way more wacko than even most politicians are. But then when he got elected, that proved just how wacko a lot of voters are. I mean, they really are in support of such crazy stuff as he was supporting making all the Muslims in the country have to register as Muslims. And
that's kind of nonsense, and there hasn't been any attempt to actually do that. It sounds like
there was a travel ban that was kind of instituted. Go ahead, Tom.
Well,
that was supposedly they haven't done that yet. But keep in mind that whenever you use the ATM or your debit card or Easy Pass, or when you use the phone or the internet, go on websites and you're clicking on things, there are records being made not only of what you're doing, but also the date and the time and pretty much the location.
They're building a profile. of every American, and they're determining where you're traveling, what you're doing at any given time. That's what these license plate readers are doing. At this point,
it's also what your phone is doing.
Right.
What I'm getting at now, can I get to the point here, is that the fact that they are not doing any of these things during prayer time is a big indicator. Gee, everybody else is, goes to use the ATM at this, that, or the other time, and that
what's the evidence that they're suspending
they can
these
determine
things?
who's not driving, or doing whatever at prayer times. They can then determine what religion people are. I think the fact that if you go to a mosque and they can track your car to and from a mosque, that they can probably determine what your religion is. What do you think?
Well, I think that they can track that you go there to a place that has other things in that area, and they don't know why you're parking in that parking lot, except that it suddenly shifts. If you're going to work and you start work at a certain hour, then you start work an hour sooner after we set the clocks ahead an hour. But the prayer times are based on solar time. So there's the fact that you do that on Fridays, and then there's this sudden shift when we change the clocks. You do it an hour earlier.
You're just talking about an insidiousness of a list, and I think that list is just as insidious if you're Muslim as if you're somebody else. Thank you for your time, Tom. Thank you for the call.
If I were Muslim, I would probably be more concerned than I am about showing up on security's radar.
But at this point, I think the most relevant thing to say here is that, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't think that the government is already building a list and that you aren't going to fall afoul of that list somehow and in some way, then you're either rather optimistic or you're right. Like, one of those two things is a statement. But if you're right, the chances are that somebody who's close and important to you that you love is going to fall afoul. The idea of the government coming up with a list, this organization that has more laws than you can read in 4 lifetimes, creating a list of people is dangerous, because they can arrest anybody they want, anytime they want.
Yeah, and you're also on a lot of other lists. When the FBI came and arrested me, how did that come about? Well, everything that I can tell leads me to deduce that the FBI called the Keene Police Department, or the Cheshire County Drug Task Force, and said, "Can you get us some dirt on either a Free Stater or a Free Talk Live host?" I don't know what the set was. I just know I was in the set.
Yes.
And that's how I came to their intention, because they wanted to invade a particular political group. Well, how did they do that? They had a list. They had a lot of lists, and they put these lists together. That's what you do with databases.
Let's go to Larry calling in from Indiana. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
You talk about lists. I've been on a terrorist list since 9/11.
Why do you think that is?
Anyway, because I came out and I was a truther at that time.
Okay.
The same day that happened, I knew it was a farce. But the thing about it is, I got a joke for you guys,
all right,
and then I got one serious comment. You ready for the joke?
Yep.
When I was in high school, I called my girlfriend. She said, "Come on over. Nobody's home." I got over there, and nobody was home. But anyway,
that makes me cry because it happened to me.
I'm going to use that when I change my name to Nobody when the process is complete.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Hey, check this out. Now, the tariffs that Trump have got in, I think it's an ingenious plan, because the tariff money that we're getting off of the Chinese, all we have to do is just give it to the industries here in the United States to start their industries up and subsidize them until they can match, so that they can match the prices with the Chinese, and actually just put them out of business. Because when you look at Chinese, they're a communist country. They really have control over their people, and the people that they have enslaved over there in labor camps have no incentive to do better. So I think that it's a very ingenious idea that Trump's plan, and you got to admit, he may be a lot of things, but one of the things he is a businessman, and he's been used to bumping heads on down the line.
Did you vote for Trump, Larry?
What are the things that he's...
I voted for him twice. I voted for him twice, and I'm going to vote for him again. Because why? Because he is a businessman, and that's who we need representing us in these matters. We don't need a Bernie Sanders or somebody like Biden or Kamala Harris or those other idiots that are running. They'll never be.
I agree with you that we don't need a socialist, but Donald Trump is a socialist, okay? That's what these tariffs are about. He wants to help the exploited worker by forcing rich people to buy American products instead of allowing them to buy what they choose.
5 seconds, Larry.
We want that. Hello?
5 seconds.
We need to just go ahead and have the tariffs and hit the Chinese and beat them down and club the hell out of them.
Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? 1? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is, the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Go to themorganreport.com and receive updates and insights you will not find anywhere else on the web. You will discover how to grow and protect your wealth under all market conditions. The free Morgan Report provides interviews, webinars, question and answer sessions, plus mind-blowing videos. As David Morgan says, let my passion create your wealth. Themorganreport.com. Themorganreport.com.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
There are basically 2 types of advertising: direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Free Talk Live. Whoa, professional broadcasters here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Mother's Day. Just chatting with my mom out in the... I wish it was the case. I wish it was the case. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
We were talking about vaccines here and the previous segments here on Free Talk Live, and lots of folks calling in about different things. But apparently there's some bill that's being passed in the Oregon legislature and is likely to be signed by their governor that is going to make it impossible to claim religious or philosophical exemptions for your kid to go to school. Now, I don't think anybody should be forced into vaccinations. I don't think anybody should be forced to pay. I think a school should be able to choose whether kids are vaccinated or not.
Stand up for a school's right to choose.
I do. I do make that, or at least I should say the administration of a school should be able to choose that. However, what I don't think...
But parents should be free to choose to withdraw their kids from that school, too.
And to not pay for it.
Absolutely.
This all comes down to funding. You see, a monopolist is a person who wants to, A, force you to pay for their school, and then B, force you to adhere by the philosophy of their school. See, that's what it all comes down to, is these people that have these monopolist philosophies, that you must do this or you must do that. And if you don't, Western civilization will crumble. Well, no, it won't. It'll be fine. There are schools all across America that people aren't forced to pay for, and they continue to go on just fine. Oh, you're saying that government schools will fail? Well, all that means is that government school should fail.
Yeah.
Any organization that cannot operate within the market should not operate within the market.
Yes, absolutely. Anything that can be destroyed by the truth should be destroyed by the truth is another way to put that.
And the vast majority of these government schools, and the vast majority of government schools, I'm not talking about charter schools. I understand they receive some government money. But the vast majority of government schools, and I'm willing to say that this is in the 99-point-something%, are the lowest ranked school in their given district for their given grade. So if you pick a grade, let's say 7th grade, you pick the grade, you pick the geographic area. I happen to be in Keene, New Hampshire. I'd be willing to bet that the poorest performing school, the aggregate of poorest performing students, go to the government school in 7th grade. The 7th graders, the poorest performing 7th graders, go to the government school in Keene, New Hampshire. And you pick any geographic area and any grade, and I'm willing to bet that 99% plus of the time that it is the government school, not the charter school. I'm sure that the charter schools, that there's a few examples you can trot out, but not many. And I'll bet you it's almost never the private schools.
I would absolutely tend to agree with that, because who would pay for a private school that didn't do what they wanted as parents? And that's a nice thing about a private school. You get to decide where your money goes, and your money goes only to the schools that you think are providing the education that people need.
And these parents that are protesting here, the government schools trying to keep their kids out because they want to opt out religiously or philosophically, what they're really arguing about, and I understand they're probably not saying this, but what they're really arguing about, because they're not protesting schools where their kids aren't allowed to go that they don't have to pay for. They're protesting having to pay for a school that their kid is then disallowed to go to for the reasons that they are disallowing them.
Right.
And that's what their real gripe is. Their gripe is about the payment. It's not about the policy. The policy is what they think they're griping about and what you hear the gripe about. But ultimately, it comes down to, hey, people, stop forcing people to pay for your low-performing school. Why do you want everybody to pay for the crappy school?
Yeah.
Why not find the best school in a given geographic area for a given grade and send money to that one? Oh, because you don't control the philosophy of that school. You think you have the smallest say in the government school, so you want to continue propagating that one. Well, you don't. That's the big lie. the crap you think that they should teach in school, they're never going to teach because they're going to teach this sort of aggregate of what everybody wants.
Well, the thing is, but they're not even going to teach that. They're going to teach what the people in the club want them to teach. And when I talk about the club, I'm talking about the people who are actually in charge, the people who are running the Democratic and the Republican Party, because they always get a veto, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think ultimately they get what they want, but the people in the Democratic and Republican parties mostly attempt to, if they don't represent, they tell lies that sound like they're representing the philosophies of the given people within their parties. Right? Like what I'm saying is the Republicans will make it sound like they believe in free markets.
Well,
they make it sound like they believe in family values. They make it sound like they believe in this thing or that thing. And these are just lies. They're lies. All you have to do is look at what Republican politicians do, and you'll see, no, they don't believe in that stuff at all. And the same's true for the Democrats. They'll act like they're for the people. They'll act like they're supporting ethnically disadvantaged folks or whatever it is, whatever the bull crap that these politicians are talking about. And they're full of horse hockey. And
absolutely.
I mean, and there's nothing more unbelievable than horses playing hockey.
Oh, that's funny. That's one of my favorite curses, as popularized by Colonel Potter on MASH. Horse hockey.
Can you imagine strapping ice skates on horses? I mean, you'd have to shoot every single one of them at halftime. I mean, there wouldn't be anybody left. Horse hockey, it isn't just funny, it's dangerous. Horses die.
It's a bad plan.
It absolutely is. I brought in this vaccine issue because I knew that it's landmines upon landmines. It is wheels within wheels. It's like a meta conversation because there's so many conversations inside of this vaccine thing, so many ways to peel this particular onion. And I'm honestly stunned that we didn't have more people calling in and saying that we're attempting to destroy Western civilization by telling people that they or by even not just towing the line. I see meme after meme after meme on social media talking about how stupid anti-vaxxers are. Now, I'm no anti-vaxxer. I want you to vaccinate your children.
I'm
just
a pro-freedomer.
Yeah, that's what I'm for. But I also attempt to look at the sort of statistical likelihoods of things. And, maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm right. I don't know. But neither do you. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Blockit Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockitPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockitPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockitPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in. Talk about whatever's on your mind here, this live edition. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
Let's go. Before we go to the phones, Rich Paul, I want to tell you about Edge Wallet. Edge Wallet is an application that you can use to hold cryptocurrencies. You can buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies. It's available on the Android and iOS marketplaces. It's user-controlled, meaning you control your money. It controls just about all the major forms of cryptocurrency: Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Stellar, many more. There's a veteran team building since 2014, and they're attempting to secure your freedom. All you have to do is let them. Go to edge.app. Secure your freedom at edge.app. Let's go to the phones. Got Matthew in Louisiana. Matthew, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this. The local show this in the morning, they had this, it's kind of a wide open show, and they'll entertain all sorts of things. They had an anti-vaxxer on, and this woman's story was very compelling, and I was like, the biggest problem she had and what made her a hardcore anti-vaxxer is the fact that her kid kept having these side effects that were terrifying, and she was convinced they came from the vaccine and, you know, related to encephalitis, and she couldn't get anybody to listen to her.
Sure.
Which made her convinced that the medical profession is part of this grand conspiracy.
Well, I think that the problem is that when you deal with crazy people on a day in and day out basis, right? And there's no doubt that there's a certain amount of sort of screwballs in the anti-vax crowd. And there's a bunch of screwballs in lots of crowds.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I mean, it's like they made a system for screwballs to be screwballed. They with the way that vaccine companies don't have to pay out, a lawsuit. They just pay into a fund, and they have to pay the certain amount into the fund, and it doesn't matter. So their responsibility for
they pay the same amount if everybody dies as they pay if nobody dies.
Right. So they lack responsibility in that way.
Mm-hmm.
The whole medical sphere and basically the zeitgeist, at least on the internet, from what I see, is that if you don't vaccinate your children, you're a cabin living, Bible thumping lunatic, rubbing gunpowder on your wounds to solve your problems. I mean, I don't even know what the hell these mouth breathing dullards think, but that's what they think. They think the same of me. I'm getting called I'm getting called dumb here on Twitch. I mean, whatever, you ain't got the guts to call in and say
it tonight. Come on, Twitch, up your game.
Go ahead. What was that? Sorry, Matthew.
Do they spell dumb correctly?
Yeah, they did, but they didn't spell crimson correctly.
Okay. But the thing is, the story she told was very compelling, and if this had happened to my infant, and I could not get an explanation from the medical professional, I would be a kook too.
Right.
Well, not just that, but as a Christian, I'm not a Christian, but if I was a Christian and of one of the anti-vax denominations, and I actually thought that my child was going to suffer eternal torment if I let this vaccine into their body, and I guess there are some sects that believe this, well, then I would do absolutely anything, including kill you, to prevent that from happening, because that's my child. So, I mean, when you contravene somebody else's religious beliefs, you really, in their mind, put their backs up against the wall where they have no choice.
Yeah, you presume that they don't actually believe what they say.
This wasn't a religious objection, but then it puts the government in a position that's really kind of strange and awkward. Okay, we are going to force you at the point of a gun to take this, force your kid to take this medicine to save their life, or we're going to kill you and maybe your kid too. Okay, this makes total sense.
Well, usually they won't go quite that far. I mean, in the case of Oregon, for instance, they say, well, you can't go to school, but we'll offer you homeschool as an option and a couple of other choices. Matthew, appreciate the call. Thanks for it. 855-450-3733. Let's go to Carl calling from New Jersey, listening to WPGG. Carl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Okay, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call. I was listening to the young women from Connecticut. Their voices were disguised. They're students there, and they are so angry because the transgender boys that are converting to girls are winning all the races. They're winning all these sports events, and I think they're right. I mean, there are two genders, and the students should have the right to win. When the boys have become girls, they just can't win at all.
I'm not going to take a stance on whether there are two genders or not, but I will agree that sports is where this issue really pivots.
I think it's certainly an interesting area, but I will challenge the there are two genders argument, and this is how I'm going to challenge it. There is a definition of gender, okay, that says that is equivalent to sex, okay? That is, if you're a penis, if you have a penis, it's male. If you have a vagina, it's female. Okay, that's one definition of the word gender. There's another definition of the word gender, which is a newer definition that says gender is basically the orientation of your personality, okay? So if you look at somebody who has multiple personality disorder, okay, they may have two personalities that are female, one personality that's male. Their sex is always the same because it describes their genitals, but their gender changes when they go from personality to personality. A transgender person is just an impoverished multi-personality person who only has one personality. Okay, and if you look at it that way, you can understand what people are meaning when they talk about transgenderism. And remember, when somebody is trying to communicate their best, it's the responsibility of the listener to try to understand what they're saying and to apply the same definitions that they're applying.
Carl, I'll let you respond, but then I've got something to say about the sports and that sort of thing.
Okay, can I respond again?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Here's what I got to say. It's what's in your JEANS. It's not what's in your GENES.
In your genes, not what's in your genes. Appreciate the call. Thank you for it, Carl.
Thank you. Bye.
So, I think you can sidestep all of this, Rich. I think all you have to do is say, look, we're going to have two classes of sports. One is the XX classification of sports, the double X, meaning that you have to have two X chromosomes. And yes, there's got to be easy tests to determine whether somebody has two X chromosomes, right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, just a little pinprick, little color change, and you can participate in the XX chromosome sports. We can call that sports women's.
Will there also be an XXY league and an XYY league?
Nope. We'll call the other one open. And at that point, anybody who does not fit the qualifications of XX cannot participate in XX, but they can participate in open. And they have every opportunity to play sports in that particular league. There you go.
Well, it's an interesting way to look at it.
So one's exclusive, one's inclusive. That's my solution. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450. Free as in freedom here on Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
The United States of Empire is a book that claims the United States is the empire of the world. George Washington had warned us against foreign wars. The United States of Empire shows that World Wars I and II left England broken. Its former colony, the U.S., had to save the empire. Was there ever a vote? Who do we fight for? The deep state began with World War I. The United States of Empire by James Dunn. Available at Amazon Books.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agrishosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agris Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agrishosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agrishosting.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help. Porcupine.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. That's the live Mother's Day edition. Not that we're doing anything in particular for mothers, but a big salute to all you gals.
Well, I will say Happy Mother's Day, Ma. I hope you're still listening. I hope you didn't get horrified or bored.
Oh, God. Probably not bored with the way we've been across the board tonight. What? It's been eugenics?
I haven't been across the board. I've been sitting right here in this chair.
Just right there. If you own or operate a retail business and you're looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance, I have the solution for you. It's helpmetakebitcoin.com. They make it easy for you. I mean, quite literally, 5 minutes in setup. If you already have a cryptocurrency wallet, it might be less than a minute. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com walks you step by step. It could not be easier. The advantages of taking cryptocurrency at your business, well, they're you'll have a new loyal customer base that will travel farther and visit more frequently your business. You'll have you'll likely possibly get news stories from your local news outlets that you're taking cryptocurrency, especially if you're promoted in any way. HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. It's HelpMeTakeBitcoin.com. Let's go to Robin calling in from South Carolina. Robin, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello.
Hi. What's on your mind, Robin?
Oh, okay. I'm a healthcare provider.
Excellent.
And I'm very pro-vaccination.
Okay.
But I'm also very pro people get to do with their bodies what they want to do.
Okay. You're not going to find any disagreements here.
Huh?
You're not going to find any disagreements here.
Well, I think as healthcare providers, we have a responsibility to try to establish relationships with our patients and to educate our patients and maybe repeatedly educate our patients.
Yeah, sometimes you have to.
Yeah, and I've never found anyone swayed to an opinion by being belittled, called stupid, by being banned from a practice, things like that.
It just doesn't work.
Quite the opposite, as a matter of fact. When people start pushing an opinion on me, like global warming, when people start saying the debate is over, I start thinking those people are on the wrong side of the debate.
Well, it makes you want to dig in your heels and be even more firm on the other side of it.
Exactly.
And
right.
I distrust that level of arrogance.
And look, I have a wife, so I'm wrong often. And as a guy who's wrong relatively recently, I tell my wife, look, this the situation of trying to make somebody look dumb isn't going to help because, hey, I'm at the very least going to defend the notion that I am dumb, if nothing else. And if I'm defending that, then in the process, I may very well end up defending my position of anything else that you consider to be dumb. You don't want me to do that. What you want me to do is you want me converted to your way of thinking. And if that's the case, then, there's a few ways to do it. Facts are great, but they're not everything when it comes to convincing people. And Robin, as you rightly pointed out, you've got to approach people with love and understanding to get them to, change their opinion. I'm not saying my wife is bad at that, by the way. She's actually quite good at it. But there are times when she becomes frustrated. And like any human being, so many things on their plate, they want to take the shortcuts. And the shortcut is often, you're dumb, you shouldn't have an opinion, let me have the opinion. And it just doesn't work.
Well, patience is hard, and sometimes you just need to vent and get all the vitriol out of your system. So I do that on Facebook, and that way I can be nice to people in person. Because I've already told 3 people they were dumb that day.
Thank you, Robin.
Well, it gets rough, but the other thing is, I honestly think this whole mandating stuff, when you start telling people you're going to hold them down and inject things in their bodies against their will, it makes even someone like me who does believe in vaccines, and I've yet to see these kickbacks that I'm supposed to be getting as a healthcare provider.
I don't believe it.
I'm really looking forward to those.
No, I don't believe it.
Anyway, but it makes me want to defend the anti-vaxxers because. And that's exactly what I don't want to do.
Right.
But when you start pushing that hard, I start to want to go on that side.
100%.
People have got to calm down and be a little patient, and again, building trust and rapport with somebody, I think, goes a long way. Not just information, but building a trusting relationship goes a long way.
Thank you for the call,
Absolutely.
Robin. Appreciate
Thanks.
it. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450 free as in freedom. And as a firefighter, I guess I'm a former firefighter at this time. I have not been accepted on at the new the fire department yet. I've got my application in. As a firefighter, they offer the opportunity for us to get vaccines. They never, ever have told us that anything's mandatory or anything like that. So I agree with her that there isn't any kind of kickback, for that whole notion that they're handing out checks to people. I don't believe it. Let's go to Donovan calling in from Virginia. Donovan, WNIS. Donovan, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how's it going? I love your show.
Thank you.
So I wanted to interject the idea that, and this might be a myth. I don't know if I've ever seen it in the Bible, but Christians and people that talk about the Bible refer to angels as people who don't have a sex. And I think through translation, it may have even got lost. Maybe it was people who didn't choose a sex or something like that. So I kind of look at them sort of from that perspective, a totally different point of view. When you don't think about the physical aspect of a person that chooses to be transgender or what they're doing, the way they dress, but the point of view of that person has to be very special.
Yeah. I would agree. I have a few friends that are trans, and I think that they must be highly committed. That's what my philosophy on this is that I'm not going to give any. These people are highly committed. They're already taking a lot of grief. Why in the world would I give them additional grief?
Right.
It's not worth it.
Absolutely. It's like a frame of mind that they're choosing, not really even a physical aspect. I mean, there is a physical aspect to it.
Exactly. And that's the difference between the way they use gender now and the way they use sex now. Used to be gender and sex meant the same thing.
Yeah.
And those are still perfectly reasonable usages, but now there's another sense to gender, which means more or less the sex of your personality. And that's just fine. You can always add senses to words. You just can't arbitrarily forbid people from using the old sense as well.
But I kind of feel from what I've been taught to believe, let's say it that way, as a person of faith, that angels didn't have sex.
Yeah, I would call them that. Yeah, sexless creatures.
They didn't choose it, or they didn't have a sex.
Yep.
And to me, that's kind of what a transgender person is. Since they don't choose, let's say they don't like the sex that they have, and they're choosing the other one, they might as well not have the one that they have.
Yeah, it's not my understanding of transgender, but it is an understanding, and I think it's a fine one. You're certainly not belittling them in any way. Donovan, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. People are going to come to their understandings in the way that they come to their understandings. I don't see a problem with it. I was convinced on the gender issue, using the terminology, like she instead of he for people, because I'm a big semantics guy. Like, this word has a meaning, and I follow the meanings.
Right.
But somebody on Facebook, and the idea of convincing somebody about something on Facebook, it's unlikely as it could possibly be. But somebody convinced me on Facebook. His name's Charles Johnson, actually. And he said, look, you can have words, you can serve words if that's what you wish to do. Or words were meant to serve us. You can choose to believe that, right? Like, humans created language. Language didn't create humans. So if you choose it, you can have words serve you. And in that circumstance, I say, well, yeah, fine. Words will serve me. I don't think anybody's going to be confused by the situation. Clearly, when Arya is standing in front of me and I use feminine pronouns regarding Arya because that's what she prefers, no one's confused about the 6-foot-tall individual with bright red hair and striped bobby socks and the skirt that she's wearing. I mean, they know that this is a person who is declaring loudly that she is quite different to the world.
Exactly. And what she's declaring to me isn't even so much I am a woman, but I want to be treated like a woman. Well, most of the time, if somebody wants me to treat them a particular way, I will generally acquiesce.
Well, the way that I treat a woman,
no hardship to me.
Oh, the way that I treat a woman is vanishingly similar to the way I treat a man. So it's not hard, right? It's a use of some pronouns, and that's about it.
Yeah, well, see, I open doors and I do things like that.
But I do those for men too.
I open doors for Ari. I'm more likely to open a door for a woman than
Agreed,
a man.
I'm more likely. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in Free Talk Live.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading around $1,284. Silver at $14.74. And Bitcoin is trading around $6,145. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, the European Union will defend the Iran nuclear accord despite Tehran's decision to backtrack on its commitments in response to U.S. sanctions. But European powers expect it to collapse without a deal to sell Iranian oil to China or India. The anti-media reports that Britain, France, and Germany, which signed the 2015 deal along with the United States, China, and Russia, are determined to show they can compensate for last year's U.S. withdrawal from the accord, protect trade, and still prevent Tehran from developing a nuclear bomb. But with Iran's economy dependent on crude exports that are traded in U.S. dollars, a promised European trade channel to bypass American sanctions has proved complicated, is not yet operational, and may never be able to handle oil sales. The Iran Accord, one of the West's biggest foreign policy achievements until U.S. President Donald Trump pulled out in May of 2018, lifted punishing United Nations sanctions on Iran in return for Iranian compliance with the deal. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, Liberty Beat listeners can save 10% by using promo code SNLS at checkout. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. Around the globe, farmers are fighting an uphill battle against Monsanto. Though some people are keenly aware of the many struggles modern farmers face, the plight will soon be highlighted in the upcoming film Percy. The movie is based on the true story of Percy Schmeiser and will feature actors Christopher Walken and Christina Ricci. The Mind Unleashed reports that Schmeiser, a canola farmer from Saskatchewan, Canada, was sued by the agriculture giant Monsanto over patent infringement in 1998. According to Deadline, Walken will play Percy, and Ricci will depict anti-GMO activist Rebecca Solkow. Spoiler alert, Monsanto successfully sued Schmeiser for patent violations after the company's GMO canola was found growing on his farm without a license. To this day, Schmeiser maintains that the seeds accidentally blew onto his property. In 2004, the case made its way to the Supreme Court of Canada, where judges ruled 5-4 in favor of Monsanto. According to a new study published in the Journal of Psychopharmacology, smoking the milky psychoactive secretion of the Colorado river toad could provide a fast-acting and extremely potent alternative for managing depression. The Mind Unleashed cites a IFL Science report, which says the North American toad excretes a whitish substance that contains a compound, which is a variation of DMT. The researchers conducted a series of psychiatric tests to examine the impact of smoking the secretion on 42 participants. The authors determined that the average depression ratings decreased by 18% within 1 day of inhaling the substance. Furthermore, anxiety was reduced by 39% and stress by 27%. 4 weeks after the initial trial, the team conducted a follow-up analysis. They found that depression ratings had declined 68% below baseline levels. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Could dropping bombs on Afghans without warning from terrifying robot airplanes that fly themselves actually hurt America's efforts to stabilize Afghanistan.
It's complicated. No, not at all. Actually, I think we need to stay the course. You don't change horses midstream, and you don't stop firing missiles from unseen death droids soaring high above the clouds just because a couple of schools get blown up.
We have got to find another way to obliterate this population.
What about flaming bulldozers or 50-foot-tall tanks?
Let's do what we can for these civilians. I mean, why not name the drones Billy or Steve to make them seem less dispassionate?
That is a terrible idea. Billy is a horrible name for a drone.
They're now developing a 40-foot robot that actually looks more like an American soldier and also sprays lasers out of his eyes.
Well, at least that's a step forward.
Hey, look, as long as it fires missiles and bombs with very little accuracy and 0 Americans are at threat, I'm all for it.
Good point.
They should give it funny, floppy arms.
Yes.
Oh, it should spray candy out of its chest a few minutes before it starts shooting everything.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Kicking off the third hour. It's Mark.
And Rich Paul.
You can call in and talk live about whatever it is that you'd like to talk about here on Free Talk Live. And before we get into the calls, just bring up a little idea of some of the things that I've brought in here. Apparently, the New York Times is pointing out that Biden, who's at this point the front runner amongst the Democrats, don't expect it to stay that way. We got a long way to go to 2020. So
yeah, I think Biden's the sacrificial lamb.
You think that somebody else is going to come along that's...
oh, yeah, absolutely.
Any predictions at this point?
No. The only exception to that is it's possible that Biden has been preordained by the powers that be, but
I suspect Jeb Bush was, too.
Well, that's the thing, is they don't always get what they want.
Yeah.
You know, they're getting better at cheating, though. They learned a lot about cheating when they cheated Ron Paul in the Republican Party in 2008.
They cheated Bernie Sanders, too.
They cheated Bernie Sanders, too. And those are, I mean, the thing is, when you think about it, it's cheaper to win 2 primaries than to win 1 general election. So it makes more sense to have the fixed candidate just win both nominations.
Yeah.
If you're a banker, that's much cheaper. It may cost you a couple of $1 billion less, but then you're going to make many, many, many billions off being able to control the president, whoever it is.
Rent seeking, this is what it's called, seeking, rather than sort of making a profit in the marketplace, rent seeking is just kind of
seeking to make other people pay you for nothing.
Yeah, more or less is what they call it. So rent seeking is a behavior because it works, not because it doesn't.
Right.
Right. So, here from the New York Times, Biden's 2020 rivals attack him from the left on climate change. So Biden is a climate change proponent. However, he's taking a sort of middle of the road. His frontrunner is seeking a middle ground on policies to reduce global warming emissions. Additional details in the report describe Biden's forthcoming policy is likely to include reinstating Obama-era regulations on automobiles, coal-fired power plants, while leaving a role for nuclear energy and natural gas in the United States energy mix. And this is another reason why the left can't win. The left can't win because it eats itself. There's no right opinion for a leftist. There is only one opinion, and that is theirs, and everybody else's sucks because it is not precisely theirs.
Yeah, I mean, if
There's
you
no
really
coalition
want to
building.
see a liberal's head explode, tell him that Islam forbids abortion,
and gay people,
and that the more Muslims who immigrate here, therefore, the more likely it is that abortion will eventually be outlawed,
and gays will be sacrificed, or
at the
whatever.
same, or even better, tell a pro-life person that since it's primarily people who are pro-choice who are having abortions, literally they're
arguing to increase the people who disagree with them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that eventually, if you ban abortion, enough people who believe in abortion will overrule you.
Let's go to the phones here. We've hit on enough topics to stir the pot, no doubt. Let's go to the phones. I'll take Bad Slave calling in on the Discord lines. Bad Slave, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you, Mark.
Are you stirred or are you shaken?
Good to what?
Are you stirred or are you shaken? We've been stirring things up. He said.
Well, I'm all of the above. Let me just put it that way. But I mean that it's not that exciting anymore these days.
Yeah, I'm getting old too.
The beards are great. I love your beard, buddy.
Oh, thanks. See the beards at cam.freetalklive.com. What's on your mind, Bad Slave?
The vaccination thing. It occurs to me right now that the real vitriol is the pro-vaccination stuff. I believe that, there's a lot of people out there that are concerned about the safety of vaccines, that are just wanting to control their own children's and their own personal, access to that kind of therapy. And I can't, for the life of me, see how anybody can argue this should be something we all control for ourselves. So the idea that there are CDC folk and doctors running around doing programs and long diatribes about how we've got and we're not talking about a specific shot that somebody can take and deal with, and they're actually talking about.
We're not talking. You're talking about several shots
feeding it into the tiniest little bodies that are available to us.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons, Bad Slave, that they go after newborn babies is because they don't expect to see them again. They're like, well, some percentage of newborns will never enter a hospital again for 10 years.
I heard you say that earlier.
Yeah.
And I agree. That's true, but
I'm not saying it's good.
That's
it's
just wrong. Okay.
I agree.
I mean, people, if they don't get their vaccinations, many survive just fine. It's like there are people out there that has never had a vaccine in their life. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that never had a vaccine in their life, and they survived.
Thank you for the call, Bad Slave. I have a good friend, and he is a friend of Bad Slave's and yours, Nobody. That his father passed away the night that he got a series of vaccines. And, you could say it's not associated, but he believes it is.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
It seems reasonable that he would believe it is.
That's how and that's how nature works. That your mind is programmed from the days that we were picking things up off the ground in the forest and eating them, that if you see somebody take something and they die, you don't take that thing.
Right.
And that kind of adjusts fear levels to reality. That's how it's supposed to work, and it's supposed to be do it based on people that you personally know.
Let's go to Keith calling in from Virginia. Keith, you're on Free Talk Live. Listen on WNIS.
Hi, how are you doing, Mark?
All's well.
Rich?
Hey.
Good. Thanks for taking my call. A couple of, not too long ago, I saw a gentleman, he's called your show before, and he has a thorough, extensive.
Keith, you're dropping some packets here. I'm terribly sorry. Could you just, whatever it is, make it as short as possible? We're having some kind of difficulty.
Sure. So he's an extensive background in veterinary science and in human medicine and pathology. And he said that polio, for example, eradicated by the Secretary of Agriculture in the 1950s, not by vaccines, because you're and live.
Keith, I'm terribly sorry, but for whatever reason, we're just not getting you there. What it sounds like he's saying is that there's some argument that the polio vaccine was eradicated not because of the vaccines, but because of, I don't know, something done by the Secretary of Agriculture. I have heard these things. I don't know. I don't think, it's a causation correlation situation. We can't say that because people got polio vaccines that polio was eradicated in the United States because of that, because that's just correlation, not causation. And science doesn't necessarily know. I don't know. The numbers.
Yeah, and it could be a factor without being the only factor.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Are you concerned that the values that made America great are no longer taught in schools? Well, I am, so I got my son the Tuttle Twins children's book series.
My name is Jack, and I'm 11, and I just finished the Tuttle Twins series. It taught me about liberty, free market economics, and entrepreneurship.
Give all the young people in your life a chance at reason and clear thought, because they're not going to get it at school. There are 9 books in the series, and each one teaches a set of ideas that children aren't getting elsewhere. Go to TuttleTwins.com and use coupon code FTL to get 40% off. That's TuttleTwins.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Talk Live. You're welcome to call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. That's what we do here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
And we do it 7 nights a week, 365 days a year. If it's between 1900 and 2200 hours Eastern Time, you can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. And Liberty.menu, it's a website for libertarians. And it's for libertarians to advertise their businesses and for libertarians to go find businesses that are owned by libertarians. It's for individuals who reject the initiation of force and agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. We call them libertarians. And you can go to liberty.menu to find a directory of events, businesses, and digital content. Listings are rated and reviewed, and there's a bit of a social networking aspect too, so you can connect and share with others. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu and use code FTL to get a special badge. It's a liberty.menu. Let's go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
He
loves that the Japanese government took my maple syrup.
Maple syrup. Maple syrup. Hi. We do it 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Steal people's maple syrup.
But how long do you last?
About 3 hours.
3 hours? Yeah, but is all of that? Well, never mind.
It's tantric. What's on your mind here, David? I know you wanted to talk about Ian conveniently being in Japan.
Isn't that convenient?
Well,
he's listening right now.
Isn't that convenient? Well, wait a minute though. One more thing is you say what you said earlier about today's edition, but I'm confused. Isn't every day the Lion Mothers edition of Free Talk Live?
Lion Mothers.
Well, today is always the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. So yes.
Okay, got it. I think. But as for Ian in Japan, that conveniently makes it so he can't cut me off in the middle of my story. But
we're here to fill in for him.
That just hit me that I might still be in trouble. Anyway, I was telling a story that I even knowing Ian well enough, I even tried to clue him in that there was a second part to this story that was the punchline, and he cut me off before I delivered the punchline. It was a serious punchline, not a humorous one. I was telling about you were on the subject of cop behavior, and I had lived in a town a long time ago that a friend of mine had been in a restaurant at brunch time, and the next table over there was a booth and then another booth with cops in it. They all met up, had their midday or whatever, their breakfast, early lunch, whatever, and he all of a sudden overheard one of them say or ask the other ones, have you seen that guy that drives that I had a brown van at the time, that brown van recently? And they all said, no, we haven't seen him. And this was a female cop, the only female cop in the area. And she said, because I haven't seen him for about 3 weeks. I happened to be out of town at the time. And then she said, what can we do to put him in jail, because he's an a-hole? And
they're right.
And the other cop, pardon?
I said, well, they're right.
Yeah, they got it right. But being an a-hole,
it's constitutionally protected.
Yeah. But so the
I may
but here's
not
the part
like that you're an a-hole, but I'll fight to the death for your right to be an a-hole.
and I appreciate that. The part that I didn't get to say is that the other cops at the table, they said, well, he might be an a-hole, but he doesn't do anything. So they were actually standing up for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, and
yeah, you can see, but you can see at one point, at least one of them was willing to use their power to, and fortunately, the sort of the group shoved that down. David, that's really it's heartening to hear that some do that. Thank you for the call. We do have a bunch of calls on the line, so I'm jumping ahead here. Let's go to the Christian Anarchist calling in on Discord. Gene, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, guys. Yeah, I'm a big conspiracy theorist, but I talked to my wife a little bit ago, and I think she's getting to be a bigger one than I am.
I think everybody is. I think that everybody has just sort of these conspiracy theories that they believe go on in life.
Well, I mean, the way I look at it, it's like you'd have to be a fool to say there are no conspiracies going on in the world with 7 billion people. So we're all conspiracy theorists. The question is, which stories do we believe and which stories do we disbelieve? The people we call conspiracy theorists actually probably believe in fewer conspiracies than you do.
Go ahead, Gene.
So the way I came up with this discussion was we were talking about, I want to land my little helicopter in the backyard, and there's something coming up now in 2020 called ADS-B, which is an aircraft surveillance system that you have to put on your plane if you're going to fly within 50 miles of any major airport. So what that results in is they know where you are at all times, what altitude you're at, where you've been.
That's kind of a good thing for airplanes, right?
Well, it can be, but also it's, we were talking about the surveillance aspect.
Yet another tracking device.
Yeah.
And she was saying, well, this is the way the government, I was surprised to hear this from her. She's saying, well, this is the way the government is going. They want every piece of evidence to be digital so they can fabricate whatever they want. They don't care if the data is reportable. They care that it's editable so they can edit the data to say anything they want. So, and you cannot dispute their edited data, just like these videos now.
In court, you can by questioning the source of the data. Ask
you should.
People when they're on the stand, what database was that data in? How many people had access to that database? How many people had right access to that database? Those are good questions.
A good lawyer will do that. However, most people are never going to get to trial, and that's a shame. But
go to trial, please.
Yeah, no doubt. When we first got into this business, Ian and I can't remember who we were sitting with who said it. I think I remember, but I don't want to call out a name when I don't know for certain. They said that, look, either you guys are inconsequential on the air to freedom, or the government's going to take you down. And you'll know that you're
you're already working for them. That's the other possibility.
Right. Well, that was the idea, right? And basically he was skeptical that we were of any value to the ideas of liberty, because if we were of value to the ideas of liberty, the government would take us down. I'm not sure I'm that conspiratorial, but that was his notion. And he said, look, if they want to take you down, here's how they're going to do it. They're going to do it with child pornography. They're just going to say
that's coming, and I think it's not too far away. And I go, whenever I go to China, I
basically
China
my theory with child pornography is what you're saying is because if once it's digital, child pornography is a digital offense, and if they want, that's what this guy's theory was, is if they want, they just put it on your computer from remotely, and then poof, you're convicted.
I believe that, and that's why I take down these wood chipper people on Twitter. I say, well, look, you want to be
Free
throw
Talk
people
Live
into a wood chipper who are just
anytime, any place, anywhere. Radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on-demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long-distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Inclement weather prevents a liar from getting to work, and a lunchbox is mostly medication. Sources across the nation impatiently reported today that the 24-hour news cycle seemed to be taking forever, telling reporters that the continuous coverage from MSNBC, CNN, and other news sources was simply not continuous enough. Frustrated Americans demanded more panel coverage, around-the-clock bulletins, and breaking reactions from Twitter.
It's like, sure, I have 5 channels of unending news updates constantly flooding my screen, but each one of those only has one slow-moving news ticker. Why not 3 or 4 running at triple speed? Honestly, these networks need to understand that I can't just wait around all day for minute-by-minute coverage.
And in this week's science news, a new report finds that lake ice grows safer to venture out on with each beer consumed. In other news, the beauty industry announces a new initiative to make women self-conscious about their palms. A beautiful cinnamon bun is too good for this world, too pure. And a picky eater is 38.
This is the Onion News.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Mother's Day edition. Thanks, Moms. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
You're welcome to call in and talk about whatever is on your mind, mother or not, here on Free Talk Live. And, Rich, let's go straight to the phones. I don't have any housekeeping to do, so we'll go to Sarah calling in from New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day, Sarah.
Yes, did you know that salt is a necessary nutrient?
Sure.
And, and then this whole salt scare is trying to make us ill, so that they could sell more pharmaceutical medication. I'm convinced.
Well, I think it's the vast majority of Americans are probably getting all the salt they need in their diet. I'm just guessing here. Most processed foods, that's foods boxes, that's foods that you buy at a restaurant, foods that come in boxes, foods that come in cans, foods that come in bottles. The vast majority of food that's sort of not fresh produce or perhaps fresh meats is already got salt in it.
Yeah, but they put the fear that you're supposed to get rid of table salt and you're supposed to have low salt diet. This is all a bunch of nonsense. Because the problem is that when we lack salt, we actually stop making proper amounts of stomach acid. Hydrochloric acid. Well, the chloric actually comes from sodium chloride.
Yep.
So then we have improper food digestion. Especially for elderly, they always emphasize low salt for the senior citizens, and they have improper, digestion because they do not make enough stomach acid. That's the problem.
Okay.
Huh.
Well,
you may well be right on that.
I'll take your word for it, Sarah. I do appreciate the call. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Cleared out the phone lines for you, but we've still got somebody on Discord. And if you want to sound as good as Alex does here on Discord, you can go to get the Discord app at discord.freetalklive.com. And among other things, we have these call-in rooms. Plus, there's this great chat going on. All the wonderful folks that you've heard on the air here are also chatting away. There are dozens of them in there at any given time, and I think hundreds and hundreds signed up to talk, so you never know who's just lurking about.
All hail Discordia.
Discordia. Let's go to Alex calling in from Indiana. Alex, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi there. Just a couple things that got brought up from some of the discussions earlier. First off, when we're talking to people, we always have our own initial view of the topic that's at hand. But when I ever talk to someone, I rarely find is when I say something different or they say something different to me, we don't say, okay, well, what made you look at what you're talking about that way? So I had a cousin who never wore a seatbelt, and he's now saying, well, if I wore a seatbelt in this crash I had, I would be paralyzed right now the way the car hit me.
Right.
But what he's not looking at is that, okay, you're right. In your specific scenario, you were better off because of what you did. But in, I don't know, I'm throwing out a number here, 95% of scenarios, you would have been better off wearing a seatbelt.
I'd say your number's pretty close. As a firefighter, I'd say your number's pretty close to on target. For me, I think that people should wear seatbelts. I certainly wear a seatbelt, and my child wears a seatbelt. My wife wears a seatbelt. People in my family wear a seatbelt because I think that seatbelts, in the vast majority of instances, are going to keep you safer in a car. However, what I would say is if somebody chooses not to wear a seatbelt, that should be their business. Yes. I do think there's the remote chance that they might lose control of their vehicle by being, say, shot through the window. I don't know how much that's going to make a deadly crash any less deadly because they're probably already traveling through the window. But there's a remote chance that it could affect another person.
Well, the thing that I always considered with motorcycle helmets was I'm more likely to die if I'm not wearing a motorcycle accident. I'm more likely to be paralyzed and have a closed head injury if I am wearing a motorcycle incident.
A helmet.
A motorcycle helmet.
After an
So I would rather die than lie in a hospital bed for a long, long time.
Well, it's a theory. Go ahead, Alex.
When you're talking decade.
Yeah, I mean, that was not essentially the point of the topic. That was an example more than a... well, what really got me on here was when we're talking about, all right, why do vaccines start as a child, right?
Why do they give them to kids when they're like newborns?
Infancy. Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we start? Well, it's because starting at time equals 0, your chance of disease is somewhat constant, but it differs throughout different stages of life.
Sure.
But it's the faster you can become immune, or that's, one less person.
Or increase your immunity.
Yeah.
Because vaccines don't make you immune. That's why let's look for this herd immunity thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
They absolutely, they bring you up to some level, and then some higher level is created by the fact that basically the disease is eradicated in some manner, and we call that herd immunity.
But it's not really eradicated. It's eradicated within a certain population.
Smallpox is eradicated.
Smallpox is eradicated worldwide? No.
Yes.
Really?
Smallpox, well, unless somehow one of the great scientists or the folks at the CDC somehow managed to bring it back. At this point, there are no cases worldwide of smallpox.
Yes, interesting. So at that point, the question is, do you then want to destroy the samples you use to make vaccines so that the thing can never escape the lab and live again?
I don't know.
No, that's dangerous, because if you get something similar, then
everything's dangerous.
You could take what we already have and say, okay, if we just change it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think that if you've got the idea of how to make a vaccine, that you probably will be okay if smallpox ever rears its head again. I don't think it's likely to happen.
It's not like it's going to kill the whole population if it suddenly shows up. There are going to be a few cases, and somebody's going to get all upset and go into a tizzy, and they're going to do something.
Smallpox is...
Look at this tizzy over the measles, and the measles is not only is the measles no big deal if you get it, but if you had the measles, you're less likely to die of cancer.
The measles isn't chicken pox.
How do you do the math on those probabilities?
I'm not familiar with that, but measles isn't chicken pox. Measles is... maybe I wouldn't call it a deadly disease, but it certainly has the possibility of being deadly.
Oh, it can be deadly. It's like 1.5% deadly in the third world. But then again, the medical care in the third world is a lot worse.
How bad is the flu?
I think I don't know. I think it's a tiny fraction of a percent die.
Oh, really? I would have thought that.
It completely depends on the strain.
Okay.
It changes every year.
Well, it also depends on where you are. Because if you get close to death in America, they're a lot more likely to be able to take you to the hospital and just give you IV fluids, which in a lot of cases will make you not die.
Yeah, if you're sitting out in the rainforest someplace.
Yeah, if you're dying of dehydration, IV fluids will fix you. And a lot of people die of dehydration.
Well, and, this is where a lot of studies that are out there that are just, kind of confined in their own academic worlds are not widely known by the public, and that's where I usually go and look and say, oh, here's a good question. Well, has someone already answered it, or is somebody being paid millions of dollars to try and answer it? And then you obviously get to look at the lien they had and who paid them. But
it's pretty obvious, though, that the average person isn't going to hit JAMA or New England Journal of Medicine or whatever they all are. I'm not saying that it's not bad, that it's bad that you do it, Alex. I think it's awesome that you're doing it, but those things aren't made for public consumption, and people just aren't going to go for them.
Yeah, but should we be looking off the things that we think are probably the most accurate?
Sure, we should. 855-450-3733, Free Talk Live.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, capitalists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event. Even with coupon code FTL50. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTL50 for a discount.
Everyone knows even good people fall on hard times. Your credit cards get maxed out, and you get behind on your taxes. Unfortunately, the IRS is not as understanding, and they won't stop until they collect. They have the power to take your paycheck, freeze your bank accounts, even your home or business could be at risk. It's simply not worth it to take on the IRS by yourself. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. When you call, be sure to ask about the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a special IRS debt assistance program that could save you thousands, even tens of thousands if you qualify. Optima will immediately provide you with a team of professionals who will fight to protect you from the IRS, ensuring you get the best possible outcome. The Better Business Bureau has awarded them an A+ rating, and you will too. So put the hard times behind you and call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144. 800-890-0144.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Would you like to hang out with Penn Jillette? He's keynoting Freedom Fest this year. I, for one, am thrilled. Freedom Fest is the largest liberty-oriented gathering in the world. They take a Big Ten approach with libertarians, conservatives, liberals, anarchists, and just open-minded people mingling together to hear real debates, share real solutions, and converse freely. This year's theme is the Wild West, a time of liberty and opportunity, or a time of anarchy and violence. Maybe both. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and get your tickets now. freedomfest.com/FTL. Not convinced yet? Hey, I understand. It's a high-end event, even with coupon code FTLEB. Sure, you're likely to receive investment advice that'll make that sum seem paltry, but I have something special for you. Go to freedomfest.com/FTL and you'll get the 5 best speeches from last year for free. Call it a test drive. Do yourself a favor and go to freedomfest.com/FTL. freedomfest.com/FTL. Use coupon code FTLEB for a discount.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at GetCell411.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
It's the final segment of Free Talk Live. The possibility does exist that if you call in very, very, very soon that we might get you on the air. The number's 855-450-3733, or you can use the Discord lines, discord.freetalklive.com. Make it easy for you. It's Mark with you.
And Rich Paul.
The number, 855-450-FREE. Let's just go to the phones, Rich. I do want to promote the AMP program first, amp.freetalklive.com. If you like the idea that we give people the opportunity to speak, people that wouldn't otherwise be heard, if you like the ideas of liberty being promoted on more than 200 radio stations, go to amp.freetalklive.com and you help us do that. We're not taking the money and, spending it on us. It's all going to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live. That's why we called it AMP, because that's what it's going for. amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Ralph calling in from Maine, listening on freetalklive.com. Ralph, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, there's something I'd like to run by you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it was awful there. Go ahead.
Okay. I hear a lot of talk about, not just talk, but laws being enacted on a national level and state level that you can't boycott Israel and blah blah, and a lot of talk equating Zionism with Semitism.
Anti-Semitism, yeah.
Well, no, not Zionism is not anti-Semitism.
Right. Okay, you're right. Zionism is Semitism, and then somehow
they're conflating anti-Zionism with
anti-Semitism. You're right. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Well, then, okay, so the State Department and national laws are equating those two to the same. Now, Joe Biden gets up and he says that he's a proud Zionist. Now, so you can't. Is that like untouchable? You can't say anything when Joe Biden says he's a Zionist. You can't criticize Zionism because it's a political movement, isn't it?
Well, I'll say right now, I am an anti-Zionist and I am not an anti-Semite.
Right.
You know, I love Jewish people and all people equally. All I demand from anybody is that they leave me alone.
Here's what I'll say. Bigots and cowards hide behind the argument of anti-Semitism when somebody's talking about Zionism. Look, anti-Semitism is real. There's no doubt about it. There are people that hate Jews because they're Jews, and those people suck. However, disliking the policies of Israel for any reason, whether you're right or wrong, isn't anti-Semitism, and anybody who says it is a joke.
And not only will I say that Israel should not torture Palestinians, I will say that Israel should not torture Jews.
I'll say Palestinians shouldn't torture Jews or Palestinians too.
Absolutely, that goes both ways.
But yeah, I've seen a great deal out of the sort of Palestinian side of this argument that sucks too.
Yeah, and
what I see is a bunch of socialists arguing about how socialism should be done, and don't expect me to take a side.
and the University of Jerusalem did a study on genes, and they found that most Israelis aren't even Semitic; they're from a Turkic bloodline.
I don't know. I mean, I think it is unprofitable to spend any time trying to determine where, say, Ashkenazis come from, or if there is in fact a lost tribe of Gad in Africa, or whether the Ethiopians are Jewish. If they want to be called Jewish, they're Jewish. Fine. Who cares?
Well, the thing is, Judaism actually has entrance requirements. So I would say, depending on context, if you've been recognized by, if you've been recognized by the Jewish authorities, you're a member of the tribe.
I don't care whether you have. If you self-identify as Jewish, I support Rachel Donicel, the former fundraiser for the NAACP and I think Washington State, who self-identified as black and curled her hair and put on tanner or whatever. I don't care if that's what you want. If that's how you want to identify, then fine by me.
Yeah, well, I think you should be able to identify however you want, and I think that increases freedom, because if I was seeking a scholarship to go to college, I can identify as female. Okay, well, I should be able to identify as a black lesbian if that's what will get me the scholarship, and nobody should be able to tell me I'm not. And so when somebody walks into a restaurant and they say, we don't serve blacks here, they should be able to say, well, that's okay, I'm white.
Well, I think it's confusing, and this is the problem with
confusing.
This is the problem with identity politics. Ralph, go ahead.
Exactly, it bleeds into contradictions and nonsense.
Ralph?
Yeah, well, and the other point I want to make is that Palestinians are actually Semitic.
Yeah, I've heard this.
It's a language group, so both Arabic and Hebrew are in the Semitic language. Although that's really kind of willfully misunderstanding what accusations of anti-Semitism are, because despite the origin of the term, what calling somebody an anti-Semite means to the person who's saying it is generally, you hate Jews.
That's what
and so my response to that would be, no, I'm not. I don't hate Jews. I do disagree with the government of Israel. I don't hate Americans, and I disagree with the government of America, too.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. I remember what is Ice-T quote, I'm not anti-Semitic, I'm anti, and then he listed some, like Saul Rosenstein or whatever the heck the guy's name was that used to be their manager, was related or something like that. He felt ripped off by this one particular guy, and...
so the guy hid behind anti-Semitism, said, "Oh, you're anti-Semitic,"
and the press went with it. right?
Of course they did.
Right. The press is willing to believe it because it's a very serious accusation to make. Now, you can hate people for lots of reasons, but if you hate them for anti-Semitism, it's the worst of reasons. And, you take some guy for instance, Ice Cube. If I said Ice T before, I apologize. Ice Cube, and who is a member of a, socially vilified ethnic underclass, especially at the time. He was a young black male, which is a pretty difficult group to be in.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any kind of anti-authoritarian leanings to you. Right. If you're not wearing a tie and a pressed shirt as a young black male, it can be a little rougher for you than it is for other folks. I do recommend, as a young black male, probably dressing very well and using your Sunday school manners is a good way to survive. But nonetheless,
if I adopted a black child, I would teach them to at least be able to walk and talk like Clarence Thomas. Okay, not necessarily to do it all the time, because they should be able to fit in whatever any kid should be able to fit into whatever environment they find themselves in. But that would be within their repertoire of roles that they could play.
You say that people should be able to fit into whatever group they're fit in. But I find as I get older that it is, for me, less and less acceptable for people to sort of change themselves for social situations. So if I were to suddenly find myself surrounded with, I don't know how to use the proper terminology here, but when I was in prison, the nomenclature, the local tongue was different than it is here outside.
Exactly.
And it would sound significantly more ethnic, right? And if I was to affect that tone that I used for years in certain social situations now, I would think it would sound disingenuous. It would sound affected. And I wouldn't want to sound that way.
Well, and that's the thing, is you want, I will do my best to make my listener understand me. And so to the extent that I can, I will mimic his vocabulary. However, I'm not going to be imitating him, because that's insulting in and of itself. You can't mock somebody. But certainly if somebody, not just in language, but in cultural references, there are some jokes that I would make to a black crowd that I wouldn't make to a white crowd, because I would be more likely to think that a black crowd had been exposed to, for example, a particular rap musician.
Or,
but at the same
notion
time,
of driving while black.
If it was a black crowd that was dressed in garb that suggested they had immigrated recently from Somalia, I might not make the same cultural assumptions. As a matter of fact, I'd make very different cultural assumptions. But the thing is, you're always making cultural assumptions because that's how you treat people with respect.
I think that's true. I think that it's very human to do so. It's a thin line to tread.
It is.
If as long as we can agree on that.
Absolutely. Like a computer program, I tend to be liberal in what I accept and conservative in what I give.
Check us out at the Telegram group, telegram.freetalklive.com. Say goodnight, Mom.
Good night, Mom.
Hey, everyone. Proactive MD.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you.